When most of us think about clutter, we picture a messy room or too many belongings. But doctors see something far more serious. In 2025, more medical professionals are warning seniors that clutter isn't just a matter of tidiness. It's a matter of health, safety, and independence. Why? Because every extra pile on the floor, every drawer overflowing with old items, and every hallway narrowed by clutter increases the risk of accidents, stress, and even illness. To a doctor, clutter is more than an inconvenience. It's a hidden health hazard. I remember hearing about an older gentleman who tripped over a box left in his hallway. To him, it was just one box. But to his doctor, it was a preventable fall that could have stolen his mobility and independence. Thankfully, he wasn't badly injured, but his doctor used the incident to gently remind him that clearing space wasn't about cleaning. It was about protecting his life. Doctors also point out that clutter fuels stress in ways we don't always notice. Medical research has shown that when we're surrounded by too many things, our bodies release more cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, that stress doesn't just make us feel tired. It can affect memory, disrupt sleep, and even raise blood pressure. And here's the part that matters most. Clutter tends to build slowly, almost silently. For many seniors, it doesn't happen in a week or a month. It happens over years, little by little, until suddenly the home feels overwhelming. Doctors are speaking up now because they know that the sooner you start, the safer and calmer your future will be. So when a doctor says, you need to declutter, they aren't talking about having a perfect home. They're prescribing a way to reduce stress, prevent accidents, and make sure you can live with dignity and peace of mind for years to come. The first thing doctors say seniors must declutter is expired medication. At first, it may seem harmless. Just a few old pill bottles tucked away in the bathroom cabinet. But doctors warn that keeping them around can be dangerous, even life-threatening. Medications don't last forever. Over time, they lose their effectiveness, and in some cases they can even change chemically and become harmful. The Food and Drug Administration has repeatedly warned that expired medications may not work as intended, putting seniors at risk if they're relying on them for blood pressure, diabetes, or heart conditions. But the greater danger is confusion. Many seniors, especially when dealing with multiple prescriptions, accidentally mix up the old with the new. I once heard of a woman who unintentionally took expired pills that looked nearly identical to her current prescription. Instead of improving her condition, the old medication left her feeling weak and dizzy, leading to a hospital visit that could have been avoided. Doctors say this risk grows as memory lapses become more common with age. A cluttered medicine cabinet filled with expired bottles is like a trap waiting to spring. And yet, so many of us hold onto those bottles thinking, maybe I'll need them again, or it feels wasteful to throw them out. But doctors remind us, your safety is worth far more than holding onto outdated pills. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention advises safely disposing of unused or expired medications at pharmacies or official drop-off locations. If that's not possible, many medications can be mixed with coffee grounds or kitty litter, sealed in a bag and thrown away, never flushed, as that can contaminate water supplies. Clearing out your medicine cabinet may feel small, but to doctors, it's a critical step toward protecting your health. A clean, organized cabinet means less confusion, fewer risks, and greater peace of mind every time you reach for the care your body needs. The second thing doctors say seniors must declutter is old papers and mail piles. At first, this might not sound like a health issue. After all, what harm can stacks of letters or magazines really do? But psychologists and doctors agree. Paper clutter carries a weight far heavier than the paper itself. Think about what usually hides in those piles. Unpaid bills, medical appointment reminders, prescription notices, and important documents get buried under junk mail and outdated magazines. Doctors warn that when these reminders are lost, seniors risk missing checkups, forgetting medications, or letting important bills go unpaid. Stressful situations that can directly affect health and well-being. I remember hearing about a senior who missed 2 follow-up appointments after surgery because the reminder cards had slipped between catalogs on her dining table. She told her doctor she thought her memory was failing, when in reality, it was the clutter that caused the problem. Once she started sorting her mail daily, her appointments and medications were back on track, and her stress levels dropped noticeably. And here's something researchers at UCLA found. Women living in cluttered homes, especially those filled with paper piles, had significantly higher cortisol levels. That stress hormone, when elevated for too long, isn't just uncomfortable. It can damage sleep, memory, and even heart health. Paper clutter also affects mobility and safety. Stacks of newspapers on the floor or overflowing boxes can quickly become tripping hazards, especially at night. Doctors worry because even one preventable fall can change the course of a senior's independence. That's why medical professionals advise creating a simple system. One small basket for to-do items, bills, reminders, letters that require action, and another for to keep. Everything else goes straight into recycling or shredding. It may feel small, but clearing those piles of paper is more than tidying up. It's protecting your memory, reducing your stress, and keeping your home safer. And every time you sit down to a clean table, you'll feel lighter, calmer, and more in control. The third thing doctors confirm seniors must declutter is unsafe furniture and broken items. To many of us, a wobbly chair, a loose rug, or a broken table leg feels like a small inconvenience. But to doctors, these are silent dangers that can threaten a senior's health and independence in an instant. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury among older adults. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 1 in 4 seniors experiences a fall every year, and many of those falls happen at home. Doctors emphasize that unsafe furniture and cluttered walkways are often to blame. I recall the story of an older man who kept an old coffee table with one shaky leg. He told his doctor he was careful, that he always avoided leaning on it. But one evening, when he lost his balance slightly, he instinctively reached for that table, and it collapsed beneath him. The fall left him with a fractured hip, an injury that required months of recovery and permanently changed the way he lived in his own home. Doctors stress that prevention is the best medicine. Removing broken chairs, replacing loose rugs with non-slip ones, and clearing pathways of unnecessary objects can dramatically reduce the risk of falls. Even small changes, like rearranging furniture so hallways are wide and clear, make a huge difference. And it's not just about falls. Broken items often cause frustration, which builds stress. A dresser drawer that won't close properly, or a lamp that flickers unpredictably, can add unnecessary strain to daily life. Doctors remind us that stress accumulates, and when combined with the normal challenges of aging, it can impact both physical and mental health. So when experts say, declutter unsafe furniture, they're not asking you to throw out your home, they're asking you to protect yourself. Because one small fall, caused by one overlooked item, can take away the independence that took you a lifetime to build. The fourth thing doctors confirm seniors must declutter is excess clothing and shoes that no longer fit. At first, it might seem harmless to keep closets and drawers full of old outfits. But doctors warn that ill-fitting clothing and worn-out shoes can actually put seniors at risk. When shoes don't fit properly, whether they're too loose, too tight, or worn thin, they increase the risk of slips and falls. Doctors see this all the time. Seniors tripping because their shoes didn't have proper grip, or twisting an ankle because the heel was unstable. And while it might feel wasteful to let go of old pairs, the truth is, keeping them can be more dangerous than helpful. Clothing, too, plays a role in safety and comfort. Tight or oversized clothing can restrict movement or cause accidents. Loose nightgowns that drag on the floor, pants that slip underfoot, or jackets that are too heavy can all create unnecessary risks. Doctors emphasize that our clothes should support our bodies as they are today, not as they were years ago. I remember one woman who told her doctor she had tripped on a pair of slippers she kept because they reminded her of her late husband. She admitted they were worn down and slippery, but she couldn't bear to part with them. Her doctor gently explained that holding on to the memory was beautiful, but the slippers themselves were a hazard. With her daughter's help, she kept one small photo of those slippers in her memory box, and let the actual pair go. It was a choice that protected her safety, while still honoring her heart. Psychologists add that overstuffed closets also carry emotional weight. Walking into a space filled with clothes you no longer wear can stir feelings of guilt, sadness, or overwhelm. Clearing them out not only makes mornings easier but also lifts that quiet emotional burden. Doctors encourage seniors to keep only what fits, feels comfortable, and makes them feel confident today. A closet filled with clothes you can actually wear isn't just practical, it's empowering. And safe, supportive shoes are more than footwear. They're a step toward independence and protection. The fifth thing doctors confirm seniors must declutter is expired or unused food. At first glance, it may not seem urgent. A few cans in the pantry, some leftovers in the fridge. But doctors warn that expired food is one of the most common and overlooked health hazards in senior homes. As we age, our immune systems naturally become less resilient. This means older adults are more vulnerable to foodborne illnesses, which can lead to dehydration, hospitalization, or even more serious complications. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has shown that seniors are among the highest risk groups for food poisoning, and often it's caused by food that simply should have been thrown away. I remember one senior who shared her story about accidentally eating soup from a can that had been sitting in her pantry for years. She thought it was safe, but she ended up in the hospital with severe food poisoning. Her doctor gently explained that the risk wasn't just about bad taste. It was about her body's ability to fight off bacteria that younger people might handle more easily. Doctors often advise doing regular food audits. Check expiration dates on canned goods, frozen meals, and dry pantry staples. Clear out old condiments in the fridge, half-used jars, and leftovers that have been sitting for more than a few days. Many seniors also hold on to food out of habit, or because they grew up in times when wasting food wasn't an option. That mindset is understandable, but doctors remind us, your health is more valuable than a dusty box of crackers. And here's something else. Expired food creates clutter that makes it harder to find the fresh, safe food you actually need. A crowded pantry or fridge can lead to misplaced items, forgotten groceries, and wasted money. Decluttering your kitchen doesn't mean throwing away everything. It means keeping what nourishes you now. Doctors encourage seniors to keep shelves light, organized, and filled only with food that supports health today. Because the truth is, every expired item you release is one more step toward protecting your body and your peace of mind. The sixth thing doctors confirm seniors must declutter is old cleaning supplies and chemicals. You might not think about that half-empty bottle of bleach under the sink, or the rusting can of polish in the garage. But doctors warn that these forgotten products can quietly pose serious risks. Over time, cleaning agents can break down. Bottles leak, caps loosen, and chemicals release fumes that irritate the lungs. For seniors, especially those with asthma, allergies, or other respiratory conditions, these fumes can trigger coughing, dizziness, or even breathing difficulties. Doctors also remind us that our skin becomes more sensitive with age, making accidental exposure more harmful than it might have been years ago. There's also the risk of mixing. Many households unknowingly store products that should never be combined, like ammonia and bleach, which can release toxic gases if they spill or are used together. And cluttered cabinets make accidents more likely, especially if containers aren't clearly labeled. I recall one woman who kept decades-old bottles of cleaning sprays in her basement. She admitted she hadn't used them in years, but she felt guilty throwing them away because they were still half full. Her doctor explained that those bottles weren't saving her money, they were slowly harming her health. When her daughter helped her clear them out, she noticed the air in her home felt fresher, and she no longer coughed when walking through the basement. Doctors recommend keeping only a few essential, up-to-date cleaning supplies. Safe, simple products like mild soap, vinegar solutions, or non-toxic sprays are often enough for everyday needs. And anything expired, leaking, or unlabeled should be carefully disposed of at local hazardous waste collection sites. Clearing out old chemicals isn't just about making space. It's about breathing easier, reducing hidden dangers, and making sure your home supports your health, not harms it. Doctors confirm, every dangerous bottle you let go of is another step toward a safer, healthier life. The seventh thing doctors confirm seniors must declutter is excess electronics and tangled cords. At first, these may not seem like a medical concern, just part of a modern home. But to doctors, the risks are clear. Cluttered electronics and messy cords create dangerous tripping hazards, fire hazards, and constant stress. Falls remain one of the leading causes of injuries among older adults, and doctors often point out how simple items, like cords stretched across a walkway, can change a life in a single step. I once heard about a gentleman who tripped on a phone charger left dangling near his recliner. That one small cord led to a fall that fractured his wrist and left him dependent on others for weeks. Something as ordinary as a misplaced wire became a major health event. Beyond tripping, excess electronics and outdated devices often mean overloaded outlets and tangled power strips. Fire departments and doctors both warn that these setups increase the risk of electrical fires, especially in older homes not designed for today's technology. And for seniors with slower reflexes or mobility issues, even a small fire can be catastrophic. Psychologists also remind us that cluttered cords and devices create mental noise. Walking into a room filled with tangled wires, unused gadgets, and blinking lights makes it harder for the brain to rest. That mental strain, combined with the physical dangers, is why doctors strongly recommend clearing them out. The solution doesn't have to be overwhelming. Doctors advise seniors to keep only the electronics they actually use, invest in cord organizers or wireless options, and remove outdated or broken devices. Family members can also help by labeling cords and ensuring walkways are free of hazards. Decluttering electronics isn't about giving up modern comforts. It's about making technology work for you, not against you. With fewer cords underfoot and fewer devices gathering dust, your home becomes safer, calmer, and far easier to enjoy. The eighth thing doctors confirm seniors must declutter is sentimental clutter, the keepsakes, heirlooms, and mementos that quietly take over our homes. Doctors and psychologists agree this is often the hardest clutter to face, because it isn't just about objects, it's about our hearts. Every item carries a story. A birthday card from a child, a wedding dress tucked away in the closet, boxes of holiday decorations from decades past. These items remind us of love, joy, and connection. And yet, when they pile up, they can also bring stress, guilt, and even sadness. Doctors warn that sentimental clutter, when it overwhelms our living space, can quietly harm our mental health. One woman I met shared her struggle with this. She had kept every single card her children had given her for over 40 years. First, they brought her comfort. But as the boxes grew, so did her anxiety. She felt suffocated in her own home, unable to enjoy the present because the past surrounded her on every shelf. With the support of her family and her doctor's gentle advice, she created a memory box, keeping only the most precious items. She told me later, "For the first time I could see the memories clearly, because they weren't buried under piles anymore." Psychologists explain that our brains can only process so many reminders at once. Too many objects tied to memories can actually blur the emotions, making it harder to truly cherish the ones that matter most. Decluttering sentimental items doesn't mean erasing your past. It means honoring it by keeping what is most meaningful. Doctors encourage seniors to approach this step gently. Start with one small box or one drawer. Choose a handful of items that make your heart light up and let the rest go, whether by donating, passing them to family, or simply releasing them. Because here's the truth. Your memories don't live in the objects. They live in you. And when you free your home from sentimental clutter, you create space for new memories, calmer days, and a healthier mind. When doctors talk about decluttering, they aren't really talking about spotless homes or magazine-perfect rooms. What they're really talking about is health, your physical safety, your mental clarity, and your emotional well-being. Research has shown again and again that clutter directly affects how we live and how we age. Physically, clutter increases the risk of accidents, trips, falls, even exposure to expired medications or unsafe food. Mentally, it fuels stress and forgetfulness. The brain becomes overloaded, constantly processing the piles and mess, leaving less energy for focus and memory. And emotionally, clutter weighs us down with guilt, anxiety, and the feeling of being trapped by things we no longer use or need. Doctors confirm that when seniors take steps to declutter, they see real, measurable improvements in health. Stress levels drop, sleep improves, daily routines become easier, Even blood pressure and mood often improve when the home feels calmer and safer. I think of one older woman who told me, "Decluttering didn't just change my house, it changed how I feel when I wake up in the morning." For her, the simple act of clearing her nightstand and donating clothes she no longer wore gave her a new sense of energy. Her doctor noticed the difference too. She seemed more alert, more positive, and less weighed down. That's the bigger picture. Decluttering is not about losing, it's about gaining. You gain more space to move freely. You gain more confidence knowing your home supports your health. You gain more peace of mind because every drawer you clear and every pile you release is a gift of freedom to yourself. Doctors call it preventive care. A calm, decluttered home prevents accidents, prevents stress overload, and helps protect memory and focus. In other words, decluttering is just as important to healthy aging as good nutrition or regular exercise. And that's why doctors are speaking so strongly in 2025. Not to make you feel guilty, but to help you protect your independence, your dignity, and your peace of mind. By now, you may be wondering, how do I actually begin decluttering without feeling overwhelmed? Doctors reassure us that the key isn't to move fast, it's to move gently, consistently, and with intention. One of the first strategies doctors recommend is the 15-minute rule. Set a timer for just 15 minutes a day and choose one small space, a drawer, a shelf, or a corner table. In that short time, focus only on that area. When the timer rings, stop. You'll be amazed at how much progress builds over time, and you won't exhaust yourself. Another helpful strategy is to create what I call a clarity zone. This is one space in your home that you commit to keeping clear every day. Maybe your nightstand, the kitchen counter, or the entryway table. Doctors say having one calm, uncluttered space helps the brain relax and gives you a daily reminder that change is possible. Doctors also encourage seniors to focus on safety first. Walk through your home with fresh eyes and ask, is this safe? Could this cause a fall? Could this confuse me? Clear expired medications, remove clutter from hallways, and get rid of broken or wobbly furniture before tackling anything else. These steps directly protect your health. Another gentle approach is the one in, one out rule. For every new item that comes into your home, let one go. This keeps clutter from building back up and makes decisions easier over time. And perhaps most importantly, doctors remind us to ask for help. Decluttering doesn't have to be a lonely process. Invite a friend, a family member, or even a neighbor to join you for an hour. Not only does it make the work lighter, but it also turns decluttering into an opportunity for connection. Finally, celebrate the small wins. Every drawer you clear, every bag you donate, every old pill bottle you toss out is progress. Doctors say that noticing these victories helps keep motivation alive and turns decluttering into a habit instead of a chore. Remember, decluttering is not a race. It's a journey of protecting your health, your peace of mind, and your independence. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Step by step, item by item, you'll create a home that supports you, not one that holds you back. As we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with one important truth. Decluttering is not about losing your belongings. It's about gaining back your peace of mind, your health, and your independence. Doctors confirm that the 8 things we've talked about today, expired medications, old papers, unsafe furniture, ill-fitting clothing, expired food, old chemicals, excess cords, and overwhelming sentimental clutter, aren't just inconveniences. They're risks to your safety, your memory, and even your joy. But here's the hope. You don't have to tackle it all at once. Even clearing one small area, one drawer, or one shelf can make an immediate difference. Each bag you donate, each bottle you toss, each item you release, it's not just space you're gaining back. It's freedom. It's clarity. It's health. I've spoken with so many seniors who've told me that decluttering was the moment they finally felt like they could breathe again. And I want that same lightness for you. So here's my gentle challenge. Before the day ends, choose one of the 8 areas we talked about and take action. Just one. Notice how it feels afterward and let that encourage you to keep going. And if this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe. Not because it helps me, but because it helps you. Each week, I'll bring you more doctor-backed guidance, real-life stories, and gentle encouragement to make your home, your health, and your heart lighter. And please share this video with someone you love. Because sometimes the greatest gift we can give each other isn't just advice. It's the reminder that none of us are alone in this journey. You are not losing by decluttering. You are gaining a safer home, a calmer mind, and the freedom to focus on what truly matters.